Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of the Daily Yap. I am Jay, of course. And this is Yappisode 28. We are coming up in the world. We have done a lot of great things in 28 episodes, a lot of great things, and we have many more to go. Many more to go. Super excited about the journey ahead. 30 kind of feels like forever. It feels like way more than 30. Um, Also, I appreciate y'all for my late night yappers. And because it's also 10:45, 10:48 on the East Coast. And so to know that we have a community that looks forward to listening and to the daily yap and also yapping with the community um on a late night like this, after maybe you already listened to Candace, maybe you already listened to some of Baron's probably still live doing his supers. But you listen to all of this stuff, and to top off your night, you wanted to tap into the daily app. So I do appreciate y'all. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit the sub button. Everybody hit the like button. But if you are new to the channel, hit the sub button. We on the road to 22K. I appreciate all the support along the way. I think we are very close. I can't ever remember what the exact number is, but I know for a fact that it is 21.9. So if you are new tonight for the very first time, go ahead and help us out. Help us get closer to our goal of 22K subs. It is 21.936, which I think is pretty good. I think last night was in the 20s, so we're in the 30s. So we're on our way up. I see, a 22K being reached probably by, the next 1 to 2 weeks. So that's very exciting. Just continuing to grow the community. But yes, welcome in, welcome back as well. To another episode. We have a lot to talk about. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. A lot of information between really Candace and Baron. I never am able to finish before I get on here. uh, so Baron is gonna kind of be on the fly when we get to it. Only if y'all want to talk about it, because sometimes I know it's about Blake Neff and where he worked, and I am very interested in to know his history. So I might try to skip around and find it. If there's anything really specific that somebody's like, nah, we need to know what's going on with this and what's, opinions and thoughts, then don't be afraid either to drop it in the comments about whatever. This is the daily app. We don't go off of different type of like organization where we have this whole show planned out. We have topics and we yap. That's why it's unique. Bro, you think Big Candace, not the little one, has a picture of EK in Fort Huachuca? I don't know. I hope so. I really do. I hope that there is something in Fort Huachuca that just comes out eventually. We talked about that a little bit last episode about so many different cliffhangers that we have been left on. So hopefully we can tie some of those loose screws a little bit, because I don't really want to go down too many side quests. And I think that's where we're at the moment. It's just a lot of side quests. And I'm not saying it's easy to tie those things together, but yeah, I hope so. I hope we give something soon. I know it's been quite some time, to be honest. I think we're halfway through the year 2026. So shout out to y'all for already making it halfway through 2026. It has been very fast, for like the blink of the eye. Next thing you know, we're in June. And some of the stuff that we're talking about happened in December. So time is flying. And I hope we are not sitting right here in September with I wouldn't say little to no information, because we have a lot of information. But I hope we're not sitting here in September still just completely confused. Hopefully we're able to tie some of these things together, solidify some of these things that are out there. That way we can put that to rest and move on to the next thing and kind of inch our way forward into this investigation and everything that's going on around it. Everything cannot be open by September. It's so many things that are open and pending right now, and we need to close it. So, but we got to just keep pushing. That's what this is for. We can't stop. We always got to just make sure we do our parts. But yes, we got quite a bit to talk about tonight. Obviously, Candace dropped a lot of information. Barron's talking about Blake Neff and some job history that nobody really knew. And I am definitely interested because he is a very suspicious individual that Tucker Carlson endorsed to Charlie Kirk. So interested in about that as well. I also want, hopefully, again, these are ideas that I want to talk about. Turning point, a couple of turning point whistleblowers that are coming out and speaking up on their experience, and I think that's very dope to listen to. Unfortunately, at the expense of a bad experience for them, but I think it's interesting and informative to hear because you have so many students that are still in Turning Point USA. You have so many people that still donate to Turning Point USA. There's been people in the Yap community that said, yeah, I used to donate to Turning Point USA and now I don't. So I think it's always cool to listen to these testimonies of people that used to work there so we can really understand who we're dealing with, because this is not the typical faith-based organization that they try to push. I put out a tweet yesterday on X and I said, well, let me see. I don't remember what I'd be talking about sometimes. I said, can we please establish a rule where TPUSA and all of its minions are banned and prohibited from posting Bible verses on Sundays? Thank you. Because it's just weird. It's all weird. If it doesn't feel real from them, even everybody should know. Even the devil knows scripture. Even he knows scripture. So when I see Bible verses from that side on Sundays, I just feel icky. I don't know what it is. Well, I do know what it is. It's not truthful at all. It's manipulative. So when they post those Bible verses and they just pretending to be so holy, I'm like, dude, that is just so weird, man. Please, y'all a political organization. It is their facade. That's absolutely. Yes, and the discernment is at an all-time high. I'm like, it just doesn't feel right. Y'all are a political organization. Just keep it there. Just keep it there. Because y'all gonna sit here and try to say that God wants, like, I don't even want to get into all that. But it's just so weird how they just try to like connect politics and faith together. And everything that's going on right now in this weird government and administration that we have is all ordained by God. And that's a whole thing, because obviously people are going to say everything happens for a reason, blah, blah, blah. So that's a whole nother conversation. But it's just so weird when they do that. And that's what happened on Sunday. I just seen people posting Bible verses left and right and all. And then, somebody they wanted me to look at the Erica clip of her crying on her Bible 365 thing on YouTube, and we'll look at it because I'm a people person, right? That's what we do over here on this channel. Whatever y'all want to look at, I'm all for it. So I'll play a clip of that as well, because that was like kind of cringed, but we'll play that too. But first off, y'all know I always have a donkey of the day. Always do. I can't say always. Some shows we just get right into it. But donkey of the day, I'm gonna hit y'all with a curveball on this one. It's not that crazy. Once I say the name, it's gonna make sense. But we haven't talked about this gentleman on the show in quite some time, and let me pull it up real quick. And he definitely deserves donkey of the day, because I just don't understand the thought process that is going through these grown adults that hold so much power in our country. And the donkey of the day goes to the man himself, JD Vance. JD Vance is the donkey of the day. Why, may you ask? Because he is going on the Megyn Kelly show tomorrow at 11 noon to chop it up with Megyn Kelly. Now, this is so dumb in so many different ways because everybody knows that the new MAGA, they all hate Megyn Kelly. All of them. That's what they're paid to do, right? This is the controlled opposition part. They are paid to, and it's all controlled opposition within controlled opposition because Megyn Kelly is also controlled opposition. But Megyn Kelly is hated by all of the new MAGA, right? The new MAGA is pretty much all of Trump's yes men and women. Your Laura Loomers, your Mark Levins, your Ben Shapiro's, your all of those people that are just very interesting individuals. That's your new MAGA. Pretty much Zionist. That's really all it is. Heavy on it. They all hate Megyn Kelly. All of them. Megyn Kelly was also in Trump's list of people who are dumb. So I don't know. I don't know. Megyn Kelly was literally on your boss's list of dumb individuals. And he wants to go have a conversation with Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly is the person that the people who are on the opposite side of Charlie Kirk, those folks, she plays both sides. But she's one of the people that pushes conspiracies. One of us. Y'all know how it is. One day she's one of us, depending on how the wind blow. The other day she's a Fed slopper. She pushes it. So I don't know what thought process. I don't know what's going on through JD head. It doesn't make any sense. It's never made sense. Someone said our whole world is a joke. Absolutely. JD Vance tried to hook up with, not like that. You know what I mean? I don't know what be going on over there, with these folks. It'd be funny because like when I'm getting into other people's business, like these rich folks' business, it's some weird stuff going on. It's some things that I can't comprehend. Us normal people don't go through these things, such as the hugs that Erica and JD shared on stage, and it's just like I don't know. It's interesting when I get into these folks' business, man. Like it's just crazy because I'm a simpleton, similar like our Yappisode last night with Tucker Carlson. I'm like, yeah, if my friend died and I was friends with him before I met you, and the only reason I know you is through my friend, he dies, you're acting weird. My friend stood on certain things and I watched you back him, and now you just flipped in front of everybody. Okay, so if I put all of that together, I think you're an op. You're shady. You're weird. You are a weirdo. I don't like you. You flipped on my friend. My friend's now dead. You are an op, and you better hope that I don't get to you first before the police do, because I got a lot of questions. That's just me. I feel like that's very normal. But then when you get to the politics, everybody's playing chess. Everybody's holding their cards close, keeping their cards close. They don't want to say too much. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Yeah, y'all are in a complete different realm than I am. I don't know. But JD Vance tries to hook up with Erica and UGA. Y'all know that was a disaster. Not only was it a disaster that Erica lied about the whole, death threat thing, which I feel like deserves a response on why you lied, because the whole media was quick to post about the death threat in general at first. Everybody wanted to post, she can't make it to Georgia because of death threats, blah, blah, blah. But the second everybody finds out that it's a lie, the media don't say nothing. Our media is our biggest op. They can't tell us the truth on nothing. With this Iran peace deal that they talking about that was signed today, every other outside source is saying that the United States is giving Iran $300 billion plus to rebuild and all of these damaging fees and stuff like that. But then when you go to the US media, who we're supposed to trust if we were dumb enough to do that, they're like, and JD Vance got up there too today and said, no, 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 no. We're not paying a dime to Iran. We're not paying a dime. That's not true. Blah, blah, blah. Nobody knows what to believe. And they get mad at us when we go to outside sources because that's typically where we find the truth. That's why they didn't like TikTok that much, because TikTok, we were able to go to another country and communicate with people from across the world, from the comfort of our homes in bed, and find out the truth on what other people think about our country. And they didn't like that. They didn't like that at all. They want us to be completely dumb, and the only information that we know is the information that they choose to tell us. It's not information that we get to seek out. Our technology that we have at the moment is not even a fraction of what we actually could use and obtain. They're withholding probably 60 to 70% of the actual technology that exists. We're only allowed to use 30%. That's just a number that I'm throwing on it. So just imagine the control that they have over us. And I'm not saying that we're the only country, but it is our country. We're one of those countries that we are in this illusion of this fake democracy. It's so much deeper and darker than we think. We're in this illusion that we have so much control, right? Oh, we're in the free world. They love to use that. We're in the free world. When it's like, okay, well, the two candidates that are elected to run for president are already handpicked by the elites. Both of them are playing ball. But then they have to make it seem like it's a democracy. So they have to have this presidential election to make it seem like we are voting for somebody that's for the people, and it makes us feel good. It's the whole world is almost a psychological operation. We have this person that's on our TV that's saying all of these things that we want to hear. And it's like, man, if I got to get out there and go vote for him, because if I vote for him, he's going to change my life and make it better. When in reality, he was already bought and paid for. He was handpicked by the elite because the elite knew that he was going to play ball. There's never, ever, ever going to be somebody that is going to be like an independent that's coming up out of nowhere as the president. It's not going to happen. Like if I were to run for president, I would probably die if I came remotely close to the two candidates that were selected by the elites. If I came anywhere close, first off, their money is unlimited. So to even come close is crazy. But let's just say I were to come close. My brakes wouldn't work one day. That's just how it works. When you don't want to play ball, you get Charlie Kirk. That's just what happens. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. And so that is why all of this is very important. Continuing to speak out, continuing to share information with everybody to keep everybody up to date, hip, on game about how they're playing games on us. Ideally, in a perfect world, everybody should just stop voting, but it's not going to happen because then they go after the boomers who don't have access to the internet. And it just keeps going. So, went on an entire tangent. Y'all know I yap. But I say that to say, JD Vance, I have no idea what the heck he is doing. It doesn't make any sense. It was the dumbest thing ever that he linked up with Erica twice, tried to, both of them failed. And I guarantee you when he runs in 2028, they probably are still going to try to push Erica as VP. As bad as it already is, I don't know what's going on. This looks like a clear as day sabotage mission. Even if you eliminate Erica out of the picture, I think Donald Trump is sabotaging. I can't say too much about the president stuff because they be doing weird stuff on TikTok when you speak about election and all that. Donald Trump, the stuff that he is doing, it's almost like he's sabotaging JD Vance. Because now it's like, JD Vance, are you going to come out and speak on the files that have been heavily redacted? Or this Iran war? Nothing. JD Vance is in the same situation, almost to the T, as Kamala Harris. When 2028 comes, people are going to say, JD Vance, what would you do different than Donald Trump? And because he's been selected by the elite and he can't turn on the party, he's going to say, well, I wouldn't do anything. I think Donald Trump did a great job. Okay, you lost. Same thing that happened to Kamala Harris. You lost. So him going on Megyn Kelly doesn't make any sense because everybody hates Megyn Kelly from his side. From his side. His president hates Megyn Kelly. So I don't know how this is going to go. I seen somebody, let me see if I saw that. Oh, I see it. Need you to watch JD on Megan's show and spoon feed us the good bits. I can't handle watching an entire episode with these fools. I got you. I got y'all. I swear. I definitely will watch it. Shout out to Crystal Smalling. Yes. Crystal, you friend of the show. Crystal always been tapped in, and Crystal got that huge shout out on Candace's show today. So Crystal, we're actually going to play your clip. I thought that was already lined up, coming up in a few. But shout out to Crystal for bringing this clip that we about to bring up soon, and getting that huge shout out on Candace's show. Crystal always brings some great stuff to the table. But JD Vance donkey today, we're going to see how this goes. I'm not really sure what angle he's going to take in the conversations her and JD Vance are going to have. Megyn Kelly and JD Vance is going to have, because Megyn Kelly also expresses her a lot of emotions around Donald Trump, and it's usually negative. So I don't know. This world is weird. We are going to see how that goes. Don't worry, I for sure will watch it. Now, there are some good finds of the day. So I don't want to just leave it off on donkey of the days. There are some good finds of the days where going through social media and we find some good things, good clips to talk about. And the first one is, yes, Crystal Smalling. She went absolutely viral with this tweet today that she posted of Charlie Kirk. For the ones that saw Candace's show, you already saw the clip. But shout out to Crystal Smalling for posting it. But it's about Charlie. It was a video of Charlie Kirk talking about some interesting things. So if you haven't heard it yet, here it is right here. Take a listen to him.
The more we learn about Trump getting shot in the assassination attempt, the less it makes sense. This is one of the largest scandals in American history. Probably even the same as JFK. By the way, if it wasn't for divine providence, Donald Trump would be dead right now. 2 bullets went right by him, one of which hit him, and he got shot. We now know that the shooter was identified by Secret Service 3 hours beforehand, that there was a roof, unattended, 120 yards away from Trump. In broad daylight, the shooter brought out a ladder from his car that he bought at Home Depot, climbed the ladder with a rifle, set himself up. People saw him, Trump supporters. Police did nothing. Secret Service did nothing. He was able to set up a shot unobstructed of the president. How is this possible exactly? Was this malevolence? Was this just incompetence? This involved potentially dozens of people that were in law enforcement. Oh, and even one more. Local law enforcement climbed up the ladder and the guy pointed a gun at him and he just walked away. Why wasn't there a call to take Trump off stage? Oh, we have a commotion. Take Trump off stage. Why didn't the counter sniper team go off scope and not do their job? Why was there no drone reconnaissance or helicopter support? I'm just a layman. I'm not a military guy. I'm not in personal protection, but I'm also not a moron. Was this a setup? What's going on here? And the lack of concern from the media is so telling. because there are many members of the media that want Donald J. Trump dead, and they don't want to get to the bottom of this.
There it is. Okay. That's crazy. That's a rookie mistake. I don't think I've ever done that. But thank y'all for telling me. Uh it's so crazy because he's literally describing exactly what happened to him. And shout out to Crystal because when I saw this video this morning, it did not have um 563,000 views this morning. So shout out to Crystal for posting this content. But when I saw it, it was only like 2 or 3,000. But he's literally describing his life and what happened to him. The media, we talk about that all the time. It's the weirdest thing ever. And it just makes you wonder, man, like, who is really controlling this, bro? Like, how is we have so many news sources, so many media outlets, and for not a single one of them to come out and do their job, which is be a journalist, find interesting stories that gain a lot of traction. And the fact that nobody's interested in Turning Point USA, nobody's interested in the Charlie Kirk investigation. Nobody's interested in these characters around Charlie when they've literally have looked suspicious from day one. Nobody's interested. So who's paying all of these media outlets? Or maybe one entity, or maybe one group, one power, whatever you want to call it. Maybe one thing owns all of it. But it just doesn't really make sense to me how we have so many different news channels. So many. Oh my gosh. It's endless. And not a single channel, not a single media outlet is interested in this case. But they want to talk about everything else.
We were 2 inches away from one of the darkest chapters in American history. No one has been fired, no one has resigned, and no one will probably be held accountable. But this is one of the strangest, most suspicious stories in American history.
And now it's Charlie's. Nobody was fired, and nobody would be held accountable. I don't think a single person. We already know how this story ends. We've talked about it before in the Yap community, but nobody's going to be held accountable. Nobody in TPUSA. Nobody. And they're going to claim that justice was served just because Tyler Robinson took a plea or he didn't make it to prison. Whichever one. They're going to say justice was served. But in reality, we're not going to know anything about this case. We're not going to get down to the bottom of it. And I think that's why I can get frustrated sometimes, because overall, I think we know that nothing's going to happen from this. Like the larger scheme of things, as far as like who pulled the trigger, we won't find that out. I think we know why Charlie had to go, but as far as like who did it and maybe what, I feel like the what is probably closer than the who. Like I feel like we're very close on, the microphone or whatever. And I think we have a better shot at getting that versus the who. But I think that's where my frustration comes in, because I don't see this ending good at all. We won't ever know what happened to Charlie. So when we have these different side quests on things that can be solved and we don't solve it, that's when I'm like double frustrated, triple frustrated. Because these are things that are not necessarily easily solvable, but they're solvable. Cool. We don't know who did it to Charlie. We don't know what happened to Charlie. That's going to go down in the history books. But when it comes to the different things like the side quest of all of the things that's been going on around this investigation, I don't want to be clueless or left on a cliff with absolutely everything around this investigation. I want to have at least a few things that are just tied together. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I don't know what happened to Charlie. I don't know who did it to Charlie. But you know what? We know that the Aspen video is fake because Charlie never said that. So now we know that there was possibly a motive for Charlie to be killed, because why would you lie about that Aspen video? Why would you lie about the miracle in Superman neck? Oh, that looks like more motive. Why would you lie about your alibi going to Fort Huachuca? That looks like more motive. So I would love to tie some of these things together, um, so we can at least have some satisfaction on that. And I can feel a little bit better when we have some of those things put to rest and put to bed. But when we have so many things just open and pending, knowing that this case is going to end open and pending, it's this frustration that's just like, it's hard to, even though hopefully I explained it, but it's still kind of hard to explain.
The comments what you think actually happened, because it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense, Charlie. It doesn't. Let me see some of these comments. Let me zoom in. This literally made me cry because it's exactly what's happening to his assassination. Wife, TPUSA, government, no one close to him trying to get to the bottom of this. Just as he said, I'm also not a moron. Yep. And they call us demonic, Charlie. They call us demonic. That same thing that he just said about Butler, his wife calls us demonic when it comes to him. And we say the exact same thing, just two different situations. Two different, y'all know what I mean. But the exact same thing, though. We said the exact same context, and we're called demonic. Grapevine, Crystal Grapevine. Never stop asking questions. If people condemn anyone for asking questions because they know the narrative is fragile. Very true. What is the source of the date? And that's why they took him out. They tried to hijack his movement, but forgot that he wasn't from the system. He didn't go to college. He started on his own smarts, free thinking. He realized what was happening, and he died a free thinker. May your memory be eternal, Charlie. This is definitely an important find. The question I now have, knowing Trump stopped the investigation to his attempted murder, did he also stop Charlie's? Dan Bongino would know. Will he tell the truth for once or continue to insult our intelligence with his lies? Everybody is fed up. Everybody is fed up. Yep. Everybody is absolutely fed up. And we have one more great find that I want to show, and it is very informative. For the ones that know already, the Leah files is absolutely amazing. Leah, you need to respond to my text message. Don't be ghosting me, man. You need to respond to my text message. We got some scheduling to figure out. But she is absolutely amazing. Her content is amazing. She does things that is like right up my alley when it comes to, finances and money. She is way beyond my intelligence when it comes to that stuff. So I enjoy listening to her and learning stuff from her. And so she dropped a crazy video that I want to play. Because she has been doing deep dives in Turning Point USA. Y'all know that TPUSA had a Doge style effort that was canceled by, I'm assuming, his wife. Charlie did it at first, and it was canceled by his wife. And then Leah is technically doing like a Doge style audit, like kind of unofficially off the record. And she has found a lot of great things. So I want to play a video of hers that is somewhat lengthy, but is very informative. And it's chef's kiss perfect. It's hard to explain or not even explain. It's hard to leave out a single second of this video because of how important it is when it comes to understanding how crazy this whole scheme is that Turning Point USA is doing. It's so much bigger than the surface. And she breaks it down just beautifully about where they have money, how it's being used, because some of these things are very hard to find, but Leah is amazing at it. That's why she's a 20-year plus professional. So listen to this video from the Leah Files on following the money with Turning Point USA that she decided to drop the other day.
Lately, and they're just trying to. The people in TPUSA are on one lately, and they're just trying to discredit anybody who questions their narrative, the BS narrative about Charlie Kirk's assassination. Like, I don't buy it for 1 second, no part of it. And your behavior since that day and every day after has just reinforced the fact that you're part of the cover up. That's what your behavior looks like. Anyway, they continuously say that the money rumors aren't true. And as a follow the money person, I'm like, there's no rumors when it comes to money. So, okay, bet. I'm going to expose it, every single entity, because you want to know what? You are doing things that will lose your 501c3 status, your tax exempt status. And if that happens, you're done. You're done. So let's go. We're going to start with the endowment, one of the shadiest ones there is. The deep dive article is on Substack for you all with proof, sources, everything. So you can go head over there. It's free to check out. That link is in my bio. But let's do a video. Turning Point has like 6 entities, something like that. It's a lot. It's insane, actually. And all it does is allow them to move money and water down any sort of forensic accounting. They did try to hide this. But I'm good at.
Let me see if I can play this in 2 times. Let's do 1.25.
What I do, and I have found what you guys are doing with this endowment. All right, Turning Point Endowment has 0 employees, guys, 0. They have no websites, and they support no programs. But you know what they do have? They have $69.9 million. And that's just as of their 990 filing in 2024. I traced every dollar that went in and every dollar that went out. And this right here is the shadiest of them all. 2017, they get their money from Turning Point USA. 2019, Turning Point USA. 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, all of their money comes in through Turning Point USA, which means that if you've donated to TPUSA, more than likely your money is sitting in what I'm about to talk about. 0 outside donors have given to the endowment. It has all been through TPUSA grants. In fact, TPUSA claimed giving money to the endowment as one of their mission-oriented accomplishments for the year. I'm sorry, that's not an accomplishment. You're moving money into a war chest. An endowment exists so that if TPUSA has a bad year, they can move money in. And we're going to get to that because they did have a bad year. But they call this on TPUSA's 990 a charitable accomplishment. The same category that they're spending on their campus events, that's what they consider transferring money into this savings account. But this savings account, when I dug, and they tried to hide this, it owns real estate, specifically 4930 East Beverly Road. That's Turning Point Action's address too. The political arm, they own 4940 Beverly Road. That's Turning Point USA's address. And the address on their letterhead is 4950, which is right next door. So Turning Point USA deeded its own building to the endowment and called it a charitable contribution. And in 2021, it bought in cash the political arms real estate. Do you want to know what can't be done? Oh, that. The mystery donor is themselves. And again, I only found this through the deed filings. If you want to see the proof, you can go to Substack. Okay, so all that happens. Now let's look at the rent math, because this one was fun too. I audited their expense statements line by line. The entire charitable program donation that was given to the endowment from Turning Point for 3 straight years was for occupancy and depreciation, the upkeep of their own buildings. That's it. That's it. That's what they consider charitable contribution. That matched dollar for dollar the money going out of TPUSA to this and the amount coming in. They just didn't think anyone would look. And by the way, the endowment hasn't had an independent audit. It's not in their 990s. They have to check a box that says, have you had an independent auditor look at this? It's always no for them. TPUSA was only no in 2024. Endowment's always been no. Shady, shady kids. 4 years of building costs, $949,000. The rent that they collected back was $232,000.
Just keep in mind that they don't pay their representatives and students and staff anything if you're not part of that clique, right? If you're not part of that upper part of TPUSA, the students get dang near nothing. The staff get dang near nothing. Hopefully I get to it tonight, but there's a guy that just did an interview with the Black Line Brief, and he talks about how when he first joined, he was getting like 50,000, 45,000. And it wasn't even a guaranteed job. Like you had to do good enough to get like a longer contract. And you're talking about these people have 70, 80 million stored away in different separate accounts. 86, what did she say? 69 million? 69 million stored away in a separate account trying to hide money. And they can't even pay their students. It's crazy. Their students, their staffers, they don't even pay them anything.
So $700 and some odd thousand went to leasing that building to themselves and the political arm. Charitable money subsidizing politics, the exact thing that the tax code says cannot happen. And on the rent line, they list rent as 0. You know, it's penalty of perjury for whoever signs these forms if they're lying. August 1, 2025. August 1, 2025.
It's crazy because they could literally just be a for-profit. I'm sure there's probably a lot of different things, like different, legal things that you have to completely change over. But it's something about their obsession with staying a nonprofit. Because it's like, bro, just go for profit. And whatever, bro. Get your donations, make money, whatever. But it's just something about the nonprofit that these dark, evil groups and people love. It's like they know the nonprofit is the loophole to hide your money, to clean your money, to have your money be undiscoverable, because with nonprofits, maybe you don't have to check certain boxes in IRS forms. But when you own a business, maybe you can't get away with stuff like that. But all of this money in the world, and they don't pay these kids anything.
40 days before Charlie Kirk is assassinated and 30 days before he asked for a Doge-like assessment. Well, on August 1, 2025, they buy a third building for $3.85 million. I'm not saying they're connected. I'm just saying that the correlation is there, that they purchased a $3.85 million building that will not show up on their 990s until 2027, a month before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. I only found this because when I was searching for the other buildings, and I was like, this looks like...
And yeah, that was their loophole too. Like they made Turning Point Action just because it's a 501c4. And then now that is able to push political things when 501c3 is not able to push political things. Yet there's 1, 2, 3, 4 people that represent both. So it's like, if you stand up there, who are you for the moment? Are you with the nonprofit or are you with the C4? It's crazy, but it's just so many loopholes. I mean, I told y'all before, we talked about this before. Anytime a nonprofit specifically has an umbrella with 7 to 8 different entities underneath that umbrella is a red flag. Why do you have so many different TPUSAs underneath TPUSA?
Real estate, let me find out, and went to trace what they've been purchasing. That's how I found the purchase. They really did a good job hiding this. I'm not gonna lie. Like, someone got smart. They're just not as smart as I am.
For someone that's been working in this field for 20 plus years, for Leah to say whoever is doing this is very smart because it was hard finding it. Imagine to the normal person. Imagine me. I'm normal. I would say I'm probably a little bit above average when it comes to finances. Maybe a little bit more than that. I got to give myself a little credit. I've had co-finance jobs, but when it comes to like discovering dirty money and knowing where to look and all of that stuff like that, it's a completely different ball game. But just that's just insane to me. That's insane to me that these people are just so sneaky with their money.
You guys know that? Their spokesman said, we are audited every year. But that is a lie because their 2024 file says they were not audited. And the endowment has never been audited. $70 million vault has never been audited. It's purchasing up real estate, getting money from a charitable organization, and doesn't actually have a mission. Here's the other thing that bothered me about this. And the thing that got me even looking so deep into this, it took me weeks, guys. It took me a few weeks to dig this deep into it. In 2023, Turning Point USA had a big deficit. 41% of their assets were down. Like, it was negative. And the endowment exists to send money to support the mission of the charitable organization. And they were down millions. And do you want to know how much the endowment sent over? $500K. Do you know what it did with some 9 million? It put it into private equity. And by the way, they can't exit that 9 million of private equity funds that they put in 10 years. The fund names that it went to, they're secret. The fund managers, they're secret. And over 4 years, it paid $565,000 in investment fees to someone whose name isn't on any of the other forms. March 2025, 6 months before Charlie Kirk was assassinated.
Students, get out of there. Y'all should be hearing these numbers and not show up to work tomorrow.
Which March 2025 to me is a very important month. I think that is when not the plan went down, but I think that is when a plan started. 3 of the Turning Point entities filed within a 72-hour period. Buried inside of that, the vault that was 3 people for this endowment became 5. New names, Justin Olson, who's the CFO, who for years was also the Arizona State Corporate Commissioner. The agency that receives their filings, that was him. And Frank Carney, who's a ghost. He has filings in over 20 states. Like, this endowment, in my opinion, exists to hide money from the charitable organization. Go take a look at the write-up on Substack. Again, it's free. There's just so much to this. I'm going to keep going. So stay tuned for the next one.
I mean, Leah's great, but it's just absolutely insane. Insane what Turning Point USA is doing. Mind you, this is the faith-based. This is the faith-based organization that would never do such a thing. Yet you're lying on tax documents. You're hiding money. These people, I actually saw that too. I saw somebody mention Leah in the comments on Candace's video, and she said she hasn't heard of her or something. Like, she said some comment. I can't remember what she specifically said, but I do remember something like that though. But yeah, like Turning Point USA, they try to fool everybody with this little smooth, innocent act. And I'm not buying it, bro. I'm not buying it. These people are criminals. Absolutely criminals. Now, I do also want to get into some of the former employees' testimonies, because I thought it was very interesting learning a couple of different things. Now, hopefully I can get to both, but there's 2 that I want to get to. One, Dee interviewed a couple of months ago, actually. I just now saw it today. And then the other guy was on the Black Line Brief the other night. So I want to play Dee first, just because Dee is shorter. The Black Line Briefs was kind of, I got to figure out, it's like 3 hours and there's no chapters. So I got to figure out how to find some of the parts where he speaks on some interesting topics. So the first one is Didi. He's interviewing this Turning Point USA whistleblower. He shares his testimony on what it was like working there. And I definitely want y'all to take a listen because, again, keep in mind, this is the faith-based, oh my gosh, faith-based organization that wants us to believe that they would never do anything wrong. Because they're just so godly. Because they say God a lot, because they use Bible scriptures a lot. They would never do anything wrong and never cause any harm. But listen to this story. Let me get it pulled up.
By Joshua. He's going to introduce himself in just a moment. My name's Demetrius. You can call me Didi for the sake of the episode, man. I just want to say thank you so much for agreeing to do this quick interview. I know you're on a tight schedule, so I appreciate you being here. If you don't mind just introducing yourself really quick with what you're comfortable with sharing, and we can just hop right into it.
Yes, sir. My name is Joshua Peterson. I'm a former Turning Point USA representative for Sacramento area, and I'm a public speaker out here in Sacramento now.
Okay. So first and foremost, how did you come to start working for TPUSA? What years did you work there? And explain to us or describe to us as best as you can what it means exactly to be a representative.
Yes, sir. So I came about Turning Point USA Faith first, and I worked under their faith branch at Destiny Christian Church here in Rockland, California. I worked there for about a year as their church coordinator under Boomer Bennett, who was the faith representative. And that's when I was approached after about a year by another representative for the Sierra territory of Turning Point USA's main branch. And they had told me that they were leaving the position and that it was going to be open. They requested that I applied for the position. So I did. And that's how I got that job as well. And then I worked there for a year as well.
Okay, what year did you work there?
It was from the years 2023 to 2024.
Okay, so that's fairly more recent. And your job was to do what exactly?
So I was a field representative for the Sierra territory of the Northwest. So I covered the state of Northern California and then Northern Nevada as well. So I'd go to college campuses, build chapters, put on events, etc.
Okay, how long were you working there before you got to meet Charlie Kirk?
I had gotten to meet him under the faith branch, so it was like I think 3 or 4 months into doing the faith branch, I got to meet him.
Okay, and you were there only a year. Was that your, if you don't mind me asking, was that your choosing or was that someone else's choosing?
So with Turning Point USA's main branch, I had a contract, so it was a year-long contract employment, so it was not by my choice.
Okay, now I am curious. I know you've given a couple of interviews, and I actually the most recent one that you gave, I purposefully did not watch all of it. I had a lot of people to send it to me. I didn't watch it because I wanted this to be a little. I said I just want perspective. Did you get to meet Erica Kirk as well? Because
Yes.
I'm asking because I'm under the impression, based on some things that I heard from a couple of people that have spoken out, that apparently no one ever really saw Erica Kirk up until after September 10th.
Correct. It was a very rare occurrence to see Erica around Turning Point's branches and stuff and at events. It was honestly a very rare occurrence, but she would show up for training annually every year, once a year. She would just show up for the day with Charlie and, you know, say hi to all the new representatives and just welcome them to the company. But other than that, no.
Okay, what would you say was your overall impression of just the rare times that you got to meet Charlie? Because most of us only got to see him via the internet. What would you say was your impression of Charlie Kirk as a person?
Yeah, Charlie, he was very charismatic, was the right word to use. He's very, just got an aura around him. He's very kind, very understanding and down to earth even. He treats everyone like a regular person, which I found very interesting for him because he is a pretty big celebrity. But he was always willing to have small conversations with people and take the time to do that. And I found that very kind to him and very respectful. And I had also met Erica. And at first, when I met Erica, I would agree that she was a very kind person and very respectful. But yeah.
Let me see. So you were there from, did you say 2013 to 2014?
2023 to 2024.
2013, 2023 to 2024. So where were you when you first heard the news of September 10th, and what was your initial reaction or takeaway from everything that occurred?
Absolutely. I was on my way up to a pumpkin patch, actually. Me and my friends had gone out for the day. And I remember my buddy in the back seat just grabbed my shoulder and he said, "Josh, Charlie's dead." And I remember I instantly stopped everything I was doing and I said, "Okay, what?" Like, I was just shocked, of course, as everyone was. And he showed me the video of what occurred. And as soon as I saw that video, I looked at everyone in the car and I said, in a very quiet voice, I said, "He's gone." I said, "There's no way he could have survived something like this." Uh, and that was my initial reaction. I started bawling, of course. I was very upset and sad.
And obviously, all of this is important, but I do want to skip around because I don't want to just sit here and play DD's whole video. I want to skip around to some parts that was very interesting and telling.
Apparently, according to what they told us, it was sort of instant, and so he didn't quote unquote suffer. Let me ask you, during your time at TPUSA, and I know they have different chapters, and you were specifically at the one in Sacramento. Would you say that the organization was what you expected? Because you are a Christian, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So would you say that it's what you expected, was something a little bit different in a good way or in a not so good way? Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that it was a very different company from what I had seen from the persona that they push. They push a very Christian narrative outside of their company to the public, and they put on a very good persona of that. I will say, though, within the company, that kind of disappears and dissipates. We've had stripper vans picking us up, taking us out during trainings to the city of
Wait. You had a what?
A stripper van. There was no actual strippers in there, but there was stripper poles, etc., stuff like that.
Was that because of scarcity and that's all they could afford, or what?
I highly doubt that, to be honest, with the amount of money that Turning Point does get. So it was just very appalling to see that. That was the third day of training, and then they took us out to a
day 3. Day 3 of training at TPUSA, and you are getting on a van that has stripper poles on it. That checks out. Turning Point USA, ladies and gentlemen. Faith-based organization that wants to tell you that if you were to question anything they have going on, you are the demonic one. But on your third day on the job, you might get on a van that got a couple of stripper poles. Don't mind that. If you see stripper poles, you might see some strippers. Don't look into that. Something Erica would say.
Bar the first night with our administrators. It was an 18 and up bar. And then the second night, they allowed us to go out with our senior field reps and go drinking, even though some of us were underage as well. So,
wow. Turning Point USA encouraging drinking. I got it right that time. I don't know why I can say that. TPUSA is encouraging drinking to underage teenagers. Interesting. Okay.
Now, I want to be devil's advocate, though, while listening to this, Josh.
of course,
Would you say that this is indicative of the company as a whole, or would you say that this was more or primarily, maybe more so the culture in Sacramento?
No, this training took place in Phoenix, Arizona at Turning Point's HQ. So that's why I would implicate this to the whole company's decision.
Do you think this is something that Charlie Kirk knew about?
I want to say no, but there is a chance he could know about that. He could have. But I highly, highly doubt that.
You say a stripper bus.
And that is something that we all, I think, collectively have given grace to Charlie about, is that he knew a lot, but we think that every time we hear something extremely negative about Turning Point USA, very questionable, we tend to give Charlie a lot of grace and say, "Oh, Charlie, there's no way Charlie knew about that." And we'll obviously never know. But I think there's a lot of things Charlie did know. He just didn't know everything. But I also think that he trusted his friends to help lead his organization. And I don't think he micromanaged. He just trusted them. So two things could be true.
But there were no strippers, so that's good. Right. But what would be the purpose of that? Was there some sort of suggestions or sort of weird behaviors that was happening on the bus? You know?
Yeah. People were dancing on the stripper poles, not obviously doing stripper dance moves, but swinging around and stuff, dancing to music in the buses, which is another thing. They were playing like hip hop, rap music. I personally just listen to Christian country music. That's just me. But it was just kind of weird, for a Christian company to put up that.
Wow. Now I have seen like some headlines of something, but I've never actually watched a video of saying anything about a stripper bus. That's crazy. Man, I'm trying to make sense of that. Okay. So why is it, because you're one of maybe 3 people, maybe? I don't know if you consider yourself a whistleblower or just an ex-employee or what, but why is it that so many people, kind of like the students from that day, we haven't really heard much from the UVU students, kind of like that with the employees or current or ex-employees? Why is it that we haven't heard from so many people that used to work there to defend Charlie, to corroborate some of the stories? It's like we haven't really heard from anyone. Why do you think that is?
I think that internally Turning Point has a memo not to talk about it because of the way they've been responding to it so far. And then also the first day that all field reps get there, they have to sign an NDA saying they can't speak about business practices and employee names at the company, which another thing that took me aback was that. I was surprised by that.
That's not normal. It's not normal for everybody at TPUSA to have to sign NDAs. Everybody. I mean, just think about it. We have Candace, Brandon Tatum. Someone threw out there that they think Tucker Carlson's on the NDA. I wouldn't put it past them. I wouldn't put it past Turning Point USA. It seems like everybody is under an NDA. It's some shady stuff going on that Turning Point USA does not want revealed for whatever reason. And, we know with Candace's NDA that some people probably don't know about or don't remember, but her NDA expired in December, this past December, but it was like in her clause that after it expires, it still extends for another 12 months. So it's just odd on how everybody signed NDAs. I guess that would make sense of why not enough students come out to speak, is because everybody's under an NDA. A faith-based oh my gosh.
But yeah, it was just, I think a lot of people are afraid to speak out legally and physically because of their own safety, to be honest.
You said physically?
Yes, sir.
If you're comfortable with sharing, what do you mean by that?
I think that certain field reps that I have spoken to, I have talked to several, and some of them do say that they're afraid for their physical lives if they do decide to speak out against Turning Point because they think that they'll be gone after.
Did they sort of elaborate as to why they believe this? Because, and I guess it's a 2-part question. And do they still see TPUSA in a positive light, as I'm sure they probably?
That's a great question. Are charitable organizations allowed to make people sign NDAs? Let's find out right now. Let's find out right now. Let's see. It says, yes, charitable organizations and nonprofits are legally permitted to use non-disclosure agreements, NDAs. They routinely use them for employees, volunteers, and board members to protect sensitive data like donor list, proprietary research, and financial information. However, NDAs in the nonprofit sector face strict limitations. Whistleblower protections. An NDA can never legally prevent someone from reporting fraud, waste, abuse, or illegal activity to government agencies or regulators. Public interest limits. Overly broad NDAs designed to silence employees from discussing toxic workplace conditions, discrimination, or harassment can be considered legally unenforceable. state-specific laws depending on where the charity operates. For example, in states like California and New York, there are specific regulations governing what can be included in employment and severance NDAs. Interesting. So short answer, yes. And for some reasons, I mean, maybe I could see donor list. I mean, not every employee has access to donor list. I would say maybe for the higher ups having NDAs, that would make like more sense. The people that are working with the donors and all of that other stuff, the back end. But for a student to come in and to sign an NDAs, I think that's very odd.
Felt going into the company.
Right. I don't think that they look at Turning Point as positively as they did beforehand. And they did not elaborate too much into it. They just said that I feel like my life would be at risk by going back out in the field. So.
Do you feel the same way?
Absolutely.
Is it because of something you've particularly heard or seen or know firsthand or?
I've seen the response that, Candace Owens has gotten from Turning Point, the cooperation with the attacks from all their social media angles. I mean, it could be devastating to someone's livelihood if Turning Point wanted to be, and that could scare a lot of people off. And then physically, yeah, I think that.
Laser Queen, thank you for donating to the channel and supporting. The Doge audit memo also talked about reshaping company culture. Charlie knew he was going to do an overhaul. Absolutely. That's why I think he was aware of maybe not everything, but he was aware of some things that really, really, really bothered him. And he was seeking out to clear out the snakes that's in the grass. And I think get down to the bottom of what's actually going on in his company that he probably felt like he was losing every single day in certain ways. So I agree with you. I think he knew a lot, and that's why he started to enforce a lot of different things before he died.
The threats towards Candace and many other people have spoken out show for that.
Do you sort of support Candace's angle as like her trying to figure out, or do you think she has a different agenda?
I think that Candace has the right idea of what's going on. I think that Charlie would have wanted us to ask questions if he died. I mean, that's what Charlie was known for, was digging for the truth and finding answers. And that's exactly what Candace has been doing in regards to his death. And personally, I don't see anything wrong with that. Turning Point, by going after her so hard, really does make themselves look guilty. And I think a lot of American people would agree with seeing what they've done.
Yes, sir, indeed. Brilliant, man.
I'm especially interested or curious to ask you about this because I'm not following you on Instagram, and I saw you posted a story differentiating Judeo-Christians from elite Zionists, if you will. And I'm curious, what do you say for those that have, most people will not have seen your story. So if you could just sort of what you're comfortable with sharing, repeat what you posted in your views on the difference between Zionists and Judeo, the regular or the average Judeo-Christian, and could you end that off with giving me your perspective on what Judeo-Christian actually means?
Yes, sir. So I believe that the Judeo-Christians are the people of Israel, the average civilian that walks around in the streets. They don't preach the gospel of the government there that Israel's government wants. I'm referring to the people of Israel, the people who don't support this.
Sort of not quite seeing it the way most of us see it.
Right. So, yeah, I did notice it before September 10th. I started by noticing the fact. Right.
Charlie, and did you come to that realization going to the Palestinian people is actually evil? When did you come to that realization? Was it prior to, which I would assume that was prior to September 10th? And if it is, then how did you feel specifically about Charlie sort of not quite seeing it the way most of us see it?
Right. So, yeah, I did notice it before September 10th. I started by noticing the fact that Israel owns a lot of our media companies, and a majority of them actually. And that just led me into a rabbit hole. I started digging deeper and deeper. I find out that Israelis own all the porn industries in the U.S. They own a lot of our politicians by paying them out millions of dollars constantly through AIPAC. And it's very concerning, honestly, for me to see that. Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Charlie, like, why do you think that Charlie didn't quite see it the way that we see it?
Yeah. I think that in the final days of Charlie's life, in the weeks and coming up to the end of his life, I think he started to think, as many of us do, about the church and what they were doing in America and their influence. And I think he started waking up to what was going on more so. But I did have kind of disagreeing opinions with him for many years about Israel, or not years, but about a year. We had differing opinions on Israel because I just personally didn't support what they were doing, and Charlie did, up until he started to notice too.
Mm-hmm. Now,
and we played that on the Yappisode quite some time ago, where we spotted the difference between Charlie being pro greatest ally and pushing it hard and telling everybody that, you know, they have brain rot if they don't agree, and then how there was a flip of a switch, and next thing you know, all of the students that he debated on this topic ended up being right. And now Charlie started questioning everything. So the fact that this young man here is agreeing that at one point in time, Charlie was pro greatest ally, but in his final days, weeks, months, he changed his mind. He started asking questions. And this is a former employee that's saying this information that has nothing to gain. And his wife won't even come out and acknowledge the same thing.
I know you have to leave soon, so I have two more questions for you. The first question is, Tyler Robinson, do you believe that Tyler Robinson did this? Do you believe that he did it alone? Do you believe that something else may have taken place that day? What are your thoughts about that entire ordeal?
I think Tyler Robinson had nothing to do with it, to be completely honest with you. I think that he had no idea that he was even going to be framed in the first place.
Yep, he's going to say exactly what we all are saying.
Is that for us? And I think we got to learn from the past and realize that that's not what's going to happen this time. We can't let that happen again.
So I think it's safe to say that you don't trust the FBI, generally speaking.
Correct.
Yeah. All right. Well, Josh, thank you so much, man. I know you have to go.
Yes,
I appreciate you. I will talk to you more offline. You take.
And so that just goes to show you a little bit about Turning Point USA and how it's not the organization that they portray themselves as. And I probably won't be able to find the exact moments or the exact moments in this interview with two Matts on the Black Line Brief. I'm going to try my best, but there's another person here that also shares that Turning Point USA is not who they are claiming to be. But I'm going to do my best to see if I can find clips for you. If I can't, forgive me. Just because, Matt, I need some chapters, man.
He could have known about this for a very long time. He could have been caught up in
church, and it will allow us to be their servants.
Yeah.
We can serve them.
We can serve, like all of this stuff. We're going to have the best data.
Because saying anything at all has been the issue.
I try not to talk too much about Mitch, but
but the state of Washington is shady, man.
And it got I think 1 million views. So pretty much called out Liz Harris. Here's the thing. She said all these things about Mossad and Charlie being connected to the Teneo group and all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just said they're bad people, blah, 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 blah. And now she's working with Tyler Boyer and doing her political thing because she is trying to still stay relevant. So she may know they're bad, but she's just right there with them. But I think there's something very sketchy about Liz Harris, because this is for another time. But I was in a situation with her, and I'm going to tell you right now, she is not a woman of integrity. She is not a politician of integrity at all. She is a liar. Election 2026. So I did it. I switched over, completely changed my whole campaign strategy and everything, and got involved with the GOP again. But the minute I said yes, and I started to file the paperwork and and get endorsements. I was endorsed by Sheriff Joe Arpaio. Okay, he's 94 years old now. If you don't know Sheriff Joe, he's the toughest America's toughest sheriff. Okay, he is responsible heavily for putting a lot of cartel people away. Okay, I like the guy. I think he's been duped too, and he's older now. He just doesn't know. So I give Sheriff Joe Arpaio.
I'm gonna have to actually find my chapters or put down some of these time frames, so that way we can dissect. Oh, now they said this is a good part. Okay, I'll let it play.
My hat all the time. I love the guy. He's a good guy. So Sheriff Joe,
I actually do remember this part. You're right.
Was giving me the contacts, but the thing is all of a sudden the GOP then switches on me and starts pulling up my activism history of getting arrested for the mask mandates and like throwing that in my face, and then dealing with a corrupt cop and saying, look at him, he's fighting with a cop. He's supposed to back the blue and all that. I'm like, do you really think all cops are good cops? Okay. Right. Let's be real. I also wanted to do prison reform. Okay. I wanted to do prison reform. Sheriff Joe, as a conservative, also said we need to reform prisons. And that's not a very conservative thing to do. Okay. That's really not.
Yeah.
And I was like, I actually did an analysis. I was using AI to like get an analysis of how much money we are spending, tax dollars, going to prisons, etc., putting people away for drugs when we can put them in rehab facilities and take the tax dollars and build rehab facilities.
It's a big business. Prison's big business.
So much money. Oh, they do not want to hear that come out of my mouth as a conservative.
No,
at all.
Yeah.
So the GOP starts coming after me. Liberals are leaving me alone. They're leaving me alone. And
do you think TPUSA was behind any of that?
TPUSA would not endorse me.
Yeah. Do you think they helped?
I believe so. They were pulling the strings with the GOP. Absolutely.
I mean, look what they were doing.
Discredit my reputation. 100%. I believe they recruited me off. They threw me. I could have won mayor. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm looking right now in Sedona of what's going on in Sedona. I could have won mayor. I'm going to tell you all that right now. I could have won this year.
Yeah.
I think they pulled me off my tracks on purpose. They distracted me. And then my last straw was this. I was at a meeting at the Women's Republicans of Yavapai County. I think that's what it is. There's all these little Republican clubs, and they're usually, you want to know who the guards are, and they don't even know that they're the guards for the elites. It's the baby boomers in these precincts, and they don't even know it. You got to get past these 75-year-old women, and they're usually women in precincts. You got to get past that. And when they don't like you, you all know I'm not a chauvinistic, sexist pig, okay?
Yeah.
Women will do what they can to destroy you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm going to just say.
Yeah. But that's like I said, I'm going to get some of the chapters and break that down probably another day, because this was a phenomenal interview if anybody wanted to go watch it before we broke it down. But it just goes to show you a little bit about how much of a fraud TPUSA is, and it gets dark. And this is the organization that is portraying themselves as just this Christian faith, based organization that you must believe in them. They must be the ones to serve the community on the conservative and the Republican side, and they're frauds. They're absolutely frauds. Now, to end the night, we are going to catch up on, or not catch up, because I watched Candace, so this is information that we already knew. But let's just chop it up about Candace and Baron to end the night. Always on a good note, because their content always is very I don't know, it's entertaining in a way. Like, I do love their journalism. I do love their style. Obviously, I talk about it all the time. What's going on? I talk about it all the time on how, when it comes to certain topics, yes, I would love to get down to the bottom of certain things with this Charlie Kirk investigation. But in general, these are phenomenal independent journalists, and their work will never get discredited. So let's look at Candace's real quick on some of her topics that she talked about tonight. Whoa. And I want, hey, this actually helps because we will be able to jump straight into one of the videos with Erica crying that somebody wanted me to play. So let me play that one first.
Slop. Like I said, no one seems to have less questions than people like Neff, Andrew Colbert, and Erica. Erica really just being what she was described as in that Department of War executive office email. She's just an quote unquote emotional asset that keeps getting boosted every time she gets emotional. Her job is to cry. And then for us to be scolded that it's our fault that she's crying because how dare we try to figure out.
I think like my thoughts on the whole Tucker dinner thing, because we broke down Barron's Barron's episode that he had last night, and all the different options that A, B, C, D, and option D was like the darkest one or whatever. And it was like Erica pretty much was an agent pushing Charlie to make decisions that was ultimately gonna get him killed. Personally, I don't even think she's that genius to be doing all of that. I'm gonna say that she was just a pick-me type of girl and would just anything Charlie wanted is what I'm going to support, just so I can just keep Charlie on my good side, keep the plan rolling. So I think she was just a pick-me girl. And if Charlie was anti-greatest ally, so was she. I don't even think she was going that far into the conspiracy of, it's a great thought of like Erica had this strategic plan of pushing Charlie to become anti-greatest ally just so the clock would start where he is completely eliminated from this earth, and now she took over, and that was her whole plan from the beginning. I don't know. I don't find her that genius to plan something like that. So I'm gonna say that she's just a pick-me girl, and whatever Charlie wanted is whatever Charlie wanted to hear is what she said. And that's kind of how it was in the interviews when those two were together. She would just kind of fish and look for something that Charlie wants to hear, and she would say that and just try to stay right there. Whatever Charlie wants to hear, she tries to stay right there. But that's how I feel about it. I don't really think that she went too in detail with the plot to get her husband eliminated. I don't think she's that smart to be doing all that.
Who killed her husband. And that's what she did this weekend. Again, it's every week. You could set a timer. This time it was on her show.
That's true. That's true. She said if she is proven to be at Fort Huachuca, I believe she was that evil. I do think she is very evil. I do. I just don't know how calculated, how far back it goes. I think she just was trying to keep Charlie happy by agreeing with everything he said, keeping him happy that way, in that way. And then when he finally was like, no, you're wrong, I'm going this way. And then I think that's when a plan went into action where she really had to play a role. So, yes. We are all talking allegedly here. So yeah, I think multiple things can be true. I think she is smart in certain ways. I don't know if she's smart in that way that Barron said. I don't know.
With Pastor James Caddis, when somebody wrote in a question, I'm sure this wasn't just typed up by them, about spending time with their precious kids. And then she had an emotional breakdown. And then suddenly I'm being attacked because she's having an emotional breakdown in public. Like I said, it's a repeat tactic to garner an emotional response, to say, look, she's a damsel in distress, so you just need to feel bad for her. And I'm going to show you that moment here. And to be clear, I don't find it entertaining or funny when Erica cries. I don't find it funny when she says, I just want to go home, and cries. I just want to know why that was being boosted at the White House. Why the Department of War is saying this needs to be the #1 clip by morning within an hour of that taking place. I want to know who recorded it. I'm just tired of this overriding strategy. So here is what Erica, we're going to watch her have this breakdown, and then I'm going to explain to you why I am not feeling compelled or moved by it. Take a listen.
I have been married for 10 years. My husband is a hardworking farmer who has gone a lot. A year ago, I was questioning my marriage and felt like I was losing myself in the chaotic life of work and motherhood. Since finding a church, I recently got baptized. My kids attend Sunday school, and we talk.
I don't want to speed this up. I want to feel the emotions in suspense.
Talk about Jesus in our church. I recently got baptized. My kids attend Sunday school, and we talk about Jesus in our home daily. Instead of nagging my husband, I embrace his hard work.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hold you. The first thing that came to my mind when she did all that was they definitely argued that night before he left for Utah. That was the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, oh, y'all definitely got in a huge fight that night. Because why was nagging the breaking point? I don't know. That was the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, when she said nagging, that hit different. I feel like you were nagging. I feel like y'all was arguing.
Sorry.
You better finish reading it, sweetheart. Let me finish reading it.
I love him like a wife should when he comes home.
And Buddy kind of weird too, man. I don't know. I was listening to him talk throughout this interview because y'all told me to go watch it, and oh my gosh, I wish I could take back that hour, 2 hours of my life because this was the only part that was relevant. Buddy kind of weird too. Like he has like this thing with Erica. He always like compliment her and say certain things, and the whole sweetheart comment that he just made. I don't know. I don't know much about him. I don't follow everybody like that, so I have no idea who he is and what his name is. But just the way he talks to her and talks about like, oh yeah, we were just texting last night about this and that and this, and oh my gosh, when we hung out together at AmFest, it was just so amazing. And my wife and her and Erica is just so similar, and it's so weird, bro. It's so weird. It's supposed to be a pastor. It's so weird. I'm like, why? I don't know. And I think he might say it right here. He was like, man, I wish I could just fly to you and give you a hug. Like, I don't know. It's weird, but what's his name? I have no idea. I think it's let me see. Where is it? Pastor James Caddis, Kaddis. This guy's weird.
Instead of losing myself to motherhood, I've completely embraced every second of it. Never wanting my precious babies to grow up. It seems like the more I pour myself into my daily readings, church, and family, the devil shows his face more than I have ever witnessed. Why does it seem like the closer you get to God, the harder the devil works on
Yeah.
you?
Look, for those of you that can't see, and I have the blessing and the benefit of knowing.
He's an Egyptian Zionist. Oh, well, that makes sense. It's like, bro, why does it always connect to this? Oh my gosh. I didn't even know who this was, bro. I knew he was like some pastor, but I didn't know like his background. Of course, he's an Egyptian Zionist. Of course.
Erica and Charlie, those of you that can't look, for those of you that can't see, and I have the blessing and the benefit of knowing Erica and Charlie so well that I know exactly why Erica's in tears, you know.
And then also in this entire interview or in entire Q&A, Erica just reading the cues. I can't ever get an A out of her. I can't get an answer out of her at all. She would read a question and then Buddy would go on a 10, 12-minute rant about whatever. And I'm just like, bro, I feel you, bro. I feel you. I know you're passionate about this and all that, but like, let her talk something. You know what I mean? Let her talk a little bit. I heard enough. You talk for 10, 12 minutes. Let's hear her for about one or two. That's it.
Man.
Like I said, this is a weekly installment. Okay. It's a weekly installment where we have a pastor that is telling us, and we're being told it's demonic, and oh my God, the devil wants to, right in the moment where I'm just trying to be with my kids, the devil, you're not just.
Y'all said the questions were written by her. Maybe I wouldn't put it past her. I don't know. It's just all, I don't feel bad at all.
Trying to be with your kids. So it was an unrelatable question. You should have said next question. Secondly, after my memory of what trying to be with your kids, and oh my God, the devil wants to, right in the moment where I'm just trying to be with my kids, the devil, you're not just trying to be with your kids. So it was an unrelatable question. You should have said next question. Secondly, after my memory of what happened in Maine.
Yeah, talk that talk, Candace. I like this. I like when she talk that talk. I like when she talk spicy. I'm like, yeah, apply that pressure. Apply that pressure. I need that same thing for Tucker now, Candace. Yeah. Keep that up.
Which, to be clear, I was not on vacation in Maine. I just went up for one day because I saw people saying, "Oh, you had a whole vacation." No, I went up for one day, and I had given birth a few weeks earlier, 8 weeks earlier, May 2nd, and after Charlie's assassination, I feel like I went through some sort of a brain trauma. Like it took a while for me to come up for air, to feel I could think again. And remembering this, after we finished the show on Friday, we went upstairs because we had a late night here, as you guys know. And I said to my husband, "Oh my, do you remember this when we went up to Tucker's house?" And afterward, he told us that he had dinner with Charlie and Erica. And before I even said anything, in front of my entire team, my husband goes, "Yeah." And he told us that Erica was like very hardcore against Israel. Of course, he did not forget this at all. I just went, yeah. I totally blacked out on that trip. I totally forgot the trip happened, that day trip. I totally forgot that Erica said this. And here is what has deeply troubled me about it. Here is why it feels like such a big deal. Because in the manner in which Tucker expressed it, okay, everyone was friends, A. There's no incentive that can be assigned to that conversation. It was him venting the frustration of what happened to Sass, him being a friend to Charlie and Erica, and the amount of pressure that Charlie was under because of his speech at Sass. And it was us discussing the shifting viewpoints of our friendship. Okay. No one had an issue, a question mark, or anything about Erica. Tucker loved Erica. He was like, she's hardcore. He also said she hated the pastors that were around him. Right. What that means is that Erica, as the wife and the confidant of Charlie.
Let's see. Do it, Jay. Do what? Tucker interview. Let me see. Who said what about? Oh, here you go. I saw Tucker said on Mario. How you pronounce that? Nafal? Yeah, Nafal. Interview. He's accepting invites from anyone for interviews. Who else wants to see Jay interview him? Man, they would never put me on that platform, man. They would not appreciate that at all. Because I sit there like, nope. You beating around the bush. I need straight answers from you. They wouldn't allow that. I would love it, but they wouldn't allow it. Them folks are scared to be completely honest and blunt. They don't want to. They got to keep up their facade.
Kirk was pushing him to be more anti-Israel. This is why it troubles me. Okay, I want you to understand this. She was pushing her husband to be more anti-Israel. The very thing that the majority of the world believes killed him. Was she speaking on the other side, from both sides of her mouth? She then goes with him after she has this dinner with Tucker. She goes with him to the Hamptons and sits across from Bill Ackman at dinner when Bibi Netanyahu is called. She's playing both sides and pushing her husband to be anti-Israel, the thing that the majority of rational people believe killed him. Okay? The majority of us believed that him turning against Israel killed him. And then after he dies, rather than asking any questions about Israel or telling us the truth about his shifting viewpoints or telling us the truth about her shifting viewpoints, she does a complete 180 and says people that ask questions about Israel, that's brain rot. I accept the Tyler Robinson narrative. I'm partnering further, taking over his company and partnering further with pro-Israel narratives and pro-Israel pastors who I told Tucker Carlson that I hated the pastors that were around him. Erica was anti-Israel in July before she went to a pro-Israel summit at Bill Ackman's house. None of this is clocking. That's what bothers me. And if she intentionally pushed him to be more anti-Israel and, yeah, no, babe, you got this. No, push back harder on that donor. No, you tell this guy this. Then what? They said, no, we can't control him. We can't bring him back. We have to take Charlie Kirk out. Think about that. Think about what I'm saying to you. It is so dark and it is so twisted, but I am telling you what I am saying is the truth. That is what Tucker said to us after we got off air. He had dinner with Charlie and Erica was more anti-Israel than Charlie. So what the hell changed, Erica? Why couldn't you find it within you to tell the truth about Charlie's shifting viewpoints? I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I forgot this for a bit. I never questioned God's timing. I'm grateful that I forgot the trip, that I knew something was bothering me about Erica's allegiance to Israel. And it was because she wasn't to Charlie. She lied to her husband about her viewpoints. That's why. And why did she do that? So she could go, well, you couldn't control him, but you can control me. I support Israel. I'll be the CEO. Sorry he went that way. It's very sad. I can be your queen. We'll be right back after a break. All right, you guys.
She's so petty. I love it. I love when Candace is petty. Yeah, I mean, I can see that side for sure. And it is dark. It is sick. It is crazy. But I don't put it past her. I just don't want to give her that much credit. That's all. But I can see that perspective. So I'm definitely acknowledging that. I can see her coming up with this whole thing, knowing what's going to happen to Charlie if he takes a certain stance. And now you are the CEO. So I can understand that for sure. And again, I'm going to hold Tucker Carlson to the fire. He needs to be the one to answer the question on if that conversation actually happened with Erica. Can you confirm or deny what Candace is saying? He should be the one to answer the question and respond on somewhere. Not Turning Point USA, not Andrew Kovac, none of them folks. Tucker Carlson. And, I think Tucker Carlson, I said this before, and some people, some people disagree, and that's the whole point of the Yap community. We all come together and share our opinions on everything. But I told y'all before, I think Candace already knew this information. I don't think she forgot. I think she already knew about this Tucker Carlson dinner and Erica's stance. But I think out of respect of Tucker liking Erica, she didn't want to bring Tucker involved. Like, she didn't want to get Tucker involved because she knew that it would cause some type of divide between her and him and Erica. So I think she knew all along and just didn't want to share it because of how much Tucker loves Erica. But I'm not buying the whole I forgot and hopefully Tucker remembers me type of thing. I just think she already knew. She already knew. And saying she forgot and all that stuff, I think it's just calculated. I think she's saying that stuff for a reason, to make it not seem as intentional when it comes to Tucker and Erica and their relationship and how everybody knows they're cool. it softens the blow a little bit by saying, I completely forgot. It never crossed my mind until right now. And he's gonna, and Candace share what she shared. So everything's a strategy. So I don't know what happened from here. I guess my guess again is that Tucker is not going to come out and say anything. But then what would that mean for the people that are seeking truth? Us. What would that mean? If he's silent, is it going to be the same smoke as if Turning Point USA was silent? Because Turning Point USA gets a lot of smoke when they're silent. Is Tucker Carlson going to get that treatment if he stays silent? Because the silence is loud. But I don't know. I think her putting this information out there is going to make Tucker play ball. And I'm all for it. I don't care about any of the other stuff. I'm ready for people to play ball. I'm ready for people to start talking and telling the truth. And we'll see. We'll see. I don't think Tucker's going to say anything. I don't think Turning Point USA is going to say anything. So until somebody proves me wrong, I just don't believe anything is going to come from this, which is another reason why I'm frustrated with a lot of stuff, is because it's just one thing after another that never has an ending. So we didn't get the ending in the Aspen video. This is another thing that we may not get an ending on, and that is with Tucker Carlson. So hopefully we'll see. Hopefully he proves me wrong. But I appreciate y'all for listening. Do not forget to hit the like button. Whether you're on your way in or you're on your way out. Make sure you guys hit the sub button too. We're on the road to 22K. I appreciate all the support along the way. We did do back-to-backs because we was on last night. And there is no way I can go through all the comments tonight live. I go through all of them all the time. Like when I wake up the next morning, I go through them all, try to respond and all that other stuff. So I can't go through them all tonight because we went to like 145 last night, and that's rolling over into tonight. So I'm double tired. And so what is today? Monday? Oh no, it's 12:30. Okay. I was like, bro, what? It was just Monday. Okay. It's Tuesday at this moment. So we will probably be live. Maybe tomorrow. Yeah, maybe Tuesday night. Just turn your notifications on so you can be notified. Definitely not Wednesday. Wednesday is cardio nights for the ones that know. So the goal is tomorrow. So just turn the notifications on just in case. And yeah, we'll chop it up some more then. But I definitely appreciate y'all for listening. I've been reading all the comments there. That's why I always look over here, because I'm reading y'all comments. I might not say nothing in the very moment because we're trying to keep the content rolling. But I'll be reading them all when I be looking over here. But I appreciate y'all for listening to another episode of the Daily Yap, episode 28. And again, make sure you hit the like button before you get out of here. Sub to the channel. We're on the road to 22K. We're almost there. Hopefully we get it in a week. We're not that far away. If not, we'll get it in a couple weeks, and that's completely fine. Turn your notifications on so you can be notified every time we go live, because you do not want to miss a Yappisode at all. We are live pretty often throughout the week around this time, late night vibing. So you don't want to miss that whatsoever. So turn your notifications on so you can have that. And outside of that, man, I appreciate y'all for listening. I hope y'all have a great night, beautiful night. And I will see y'all on the next one.